Chris, you buying that these two will team up with the Knicks?
Yeah, with Kyrie, I read his lips. He was like, look, Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr., we in the East, we going to be nice. Boston won't be the same without me.
And he turns and winks at the camera phone that's right in front of him.
No, but it's very realistic. Look, I'm not saying Kyrie's out of Boston, but I do think a lot of it depends on how this season ends. If they go out in the second round, and they play, right now they're scheduled to play Milwaukee, you know, assuming the top seeds win. They will play Milwaukee in the second round, and I think Milwaukee, in my book, would be favored. So if they go out in the second round, is Kyrie or the other young players going to be able to accept that, hey, we went further last year in LeBron's East, even though it's better now, the still perception is it's wide open because LeBron's gone. We went farther last year. We beat Milwaukee last year. Now we have Kyrie. We lost to them. That could push him out the door. And while there are people, I agree with you, Doug, I don't think he's going to the Lakers. But there are people in the league that think it's either the Knicks or the Lakers. I think it would definitely be the Knicks. He's from the greater New York area in West Orange, New Jersey. And I don't think KD would go to New York by himself. I don't think he should go to New York by himself. And he and Kyrie are close, as we saw, but they're close friends as well. They will be talking. And here's the scary thing. If those two want to go to New York, and New York gets the first pick, or maybe even the second pick, you could offer that for Anthony Davis. Obviously, with Kyrie and KD, your timetable changes. You don't necessarily want to wait on a Zion Williamson to develop or whatever you think he needs to do. Maybe you just go get Anthony Davis, and you talk about a big three of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis in New York.
Money-wise, could they do that?
Oh, yeah, they could work it out. They could work it out.
You can do anything. You have to shed the rest of the team. And Dennis Smith Jr., by the way, goodbye.
You're right.
enjoy New Orleans and
right.
some beignets. Because I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. and Kyrie work together anyway. I mean, truth be told. Could it happen? Yeah. But, boy, there's a lot of, if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drinking, right? I mean, there's a lot that has to happen there. So it has to, those guys don't know. They don't know. One of the reasons I think Kevin Durant is a little bit tired of being asked about it is because, honestly, he's got no idea.
Right. And like you say, both of them.
I've got no idea because I don't know how this is going to end. We all assume the Golden State Warriors are going to win the championship, but the path to getting there, what's that like? Do they actually get there? What would happen if they lost? What would happen if they win? Like, there's a lot of scenarios. And then you have Boston. Like, yeah, they could play Milwaukee, but all those teams, in the middle are separated by a game. They could very easily get to the Eastern Conference Finals again and get to the NBA Finals if they figure some things out. So, and how is he motivated if they do well? How is he motivated if they do poorly? And are you betting on David Fizdale, who everybody likes and was part of those Miami championship teams, but he ain't been the head coach in winning anything, right? It was before the collapse last year in Memphis, and now this year.
He had a nice little run that one year in Memphis. With what did he say on the?
Yeah,
take that for data.
Take that for data. Yeah, but then he also stopped getting along with Marcus Gasol, and that's why he lost his job.
Yeah.
And they start, right? And that's why they start. So, look, I like Fizz.
I think Fizz is a good coach.
Everybody thinks he's a good dude, and I think he's a pretty good coach. But you got Brad Stevens. You got kind of bird in hand is better than one in the bush. So let's see if Brad Stevens impresses him in the postseason, where he's like, whoa, I'm in on Brad because it's. Playoff Brad is like playoff Flacco. It's a little bit higher level than everybody else. Anybody who says they know right now, I believe is lying. They want their opinion heard because those guys don't know. They may think it's a cool idea, but cool ideas and does it actually happen? There's a big gap between the two.
Even talk around the league. When you talk to GMs and executives for other teams, they're speculating because nobody knows for sure what these guys are going to do. And as much as I said yesterday, I would love to see KD try to win 4 straight in Golden State, assuming they win this year, and then go to New York or something. But 4 straight is tough. There's a reason nobody's done it since Bill Russell, because not only the physical challenge of doing it, but mentally, the fatigue. And we've already seen tension between KD and Draymond Green. Like, does this group even want to come back together for a 4th run at a title? I don't know. So I think, though, Doug, I think I'm a little more I guess optimistic would be the word, that Kyrie and KD do end up in New York than you are.
I think it's also interesting that there was a story about the possibility of Jim Dolan selling the Knicks, which he shot down, because there is some feeling still in the NBA, even though he has nothing to do with basketball, right? One of the things he did a couple years ago was like, that's the mistake with Phil Jackson, when he's like, I'm hiring the best, let them run it, and Phil Jackson ran it into the ground yet again. But Jim Dolan has nothing to do with basketball. But he did have, he got into it with Charles Oakley, and that was ugly. And I think there is that sense where, do I want to go play and make Jim Dolan some more money, or do I not? The other part that I think is interesting is, I'm not sure I would trade Zion Williamson for Anthony Davis.
Really?
I mean, look.
If you had those two?
I have those two.
Oh.
Because Zion Williamson.
Because I wouldn't do it if I didn't. If I don't get a free agent, I'm not trading Zion for Anthony Davis.
Obviously not. No question. He's a meal ticket. They put $1 billion into that arena, and he's going to fill it every night. But if you think of who he really is, he's not LeBron James. What he is if you took Draymond Green and you gave him the athleticism of Blake Griffin early in his career, and then you gave him a little bit of Charles Barkley in his ability to kind of score in and around the post, and a little bit of LeBron's kind of some of his ball handling, but he's not LeBron James.
Great player.
LeBron James. That's what he could be. That's,
no question.
And in 2019 into 2020 and beyond, NBA basketball has changed. If you go back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he would have had to go down a position. He would have had to be a 3 in the NBA. He's a 4-5. He's Draymond. He'll play 5 when you play small ball. He'll play 4 with your starting lineup. And to me, in addition to the fact that he's a highlight film and he plays both ends of the floor, don't get me wrong, Anthony Davis is a better player right now, but in terms of fit for those guys, you don't need anybody else who needs the basketball. Those two guys, you play with one ball, it's going to be I go, you go. And he already plays without the basketball with Duke. That's the great part about it. He doesn't have to relearn how to play off the ball. That's how he plays now. He'd be perfect with those two, plus he'd fill up the arena, plus he'd help you at the defensive end. I wouldn't trade the rights to Zion Williamson for Anthony Davis.
I would. I mean, look, you make a good point. Those are solid points, and Zion could win with those two. So maybe they wouldn't do it, but, man, Anthony Davis is only 25 himself.
I know, it's amazing.
And you already know what you're getting.
No, I know.
Right, because as much as I like Zion and you like him, and I haven't talked to one person in the NBA who hasn't said he's the consensus #1 pick, we still don't know for certain.
Yeah, we don't know if he can lose weight. We don't know how much he can play at that weight. We don't know what it looks like in the NBA range. No, that's all fair.
Kyrie grew up a Nets fan. Why didn't no one want to talk about these two coming to Brooklyn?
Come on. I'll throw this out.
Give Brooklyn a little love. They could clear 2 max spots.
Stop it.
Obviously, he's better than their guards, but they do have guard. Like, they would take Kyrie, obviously, over those guys. He could beat them out. But if I'm looking at that team as a free agent, I'm like, do I want to go there as a guard? We need other pieces. I'm sorry about that, but
no, don't be sorry.
They're playing.
I like Spencer Dinwiddie.
We'll keep going.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.